What's up? This is Ray with Get Real Ray, a place and space for life and business tips from this creative soul to hopefully inspire you on your journey, or at the very least provide you with some laughs. And so let's get real. Let's get real about this year's quarterly review. Yay!
Craving real advice? Tired of feeling like every other small business owner or solopreneur is raking in the dough while you just seem to be raking? Secretly looking for a reminder that starting your own business is not as glamorous as others make it look? Whether you're looking to change the game in your relationships at home or at the workplace, you've come to the right place. My name is Ray. I went from corporate America to running my own small business to becoming a solopreneur. I'm a professional actor and, dare we say, a professional busybody, because this body is about to be busy all up in your biz. So let's get real.
Okay, so this is not a financial review. This is a little life review. I've done these on this channel before, and I do them partly because you hold me accountable for not being a total train wreck, and I want to also encourage you to take some steps to just not let time fly by. Take a look at your life. Take a look. Is this what I want? Am I doing what I said I want to do? Am I good with my life? Don't be miserable, people. Don't be miserable. There's so much pain and suffering already in the world that causing yourself unnecessary pain and suffering is just kind of like, why? Unless you're into that, unless you just like being pain and suffering all the time. So yeah, hanging with some dogs. The dogs are over here hitting the camera stand because they're like, oh, she's talking. Maybe she wants to talk to us. You might see these dogs. Oh, they walked by earlier. Well, then you know. Okay, so I'm going to be petting some dogs while I chat with you. But of course, if you're just listening to an audio, then you don't care about the wobbly camera. All right, so let's get into it. I want to say 2024, 2025, I did some videos where I talked about using a little checklist in order to keep track of the things that I said I wanted to do with my life, skills I wanted to learn, things I wanted to improve, all the goods. Yeah. And with that, for the first few months, it was great until I found myself going from one house sit to the next. And these are short house sits. And I just did not want to have to keep taking this binder out of my backpack in order to, I sound like a school kid, this binder out of my backpack. Oh my goodness. But yes, I have a binder that I'm going to go through with you guys. And I didn't feel like taking it out of my backpack in order to check off that I've done the things that I said I needed to do. So if you are not new to my channel or what have you, then you know I've been doing house sitting in the US through this site called Trusted House Sitters. And I also am a solopreneur, so I'm also an actor. Oh my gosh, dogs. And so I have, the more I try to stay in a certain area, I found myself doing shorter house sits. So instead of being a month, 2 weeks, 2 months in the same location, it's like, oh, okay, 1 week, pack up again and be gone. While it's definitely allowed me to see some more cool homes, downside is that I'm constantly in this position where I'm like, oh gosh, I just got settled in and now I'm going to have to get on up out of here. I don't want to have to take everything out of the car. I don't want to have to unpack a lot of stuff, only to have to then repack it up in a few days. For me, it's just a bit of a time waster. And actually, I have a suitcase in my car right now, my winter clothes. I don't think I wore a single item from that suitcase during the winter. It just felt like, gosh, I'm going to have to take out another suitcase and then pack it, repack it. I spent part of my winter, the longest house that I had during the winter was in an area where those sweaters would have been ideal, but I was only able to bring one suitcase and my backpack. to that location. Sweaters are bulky. And so I opted to take my recording equipment in my backpack and an extra pair of shoes, waterproof shoes, because I knew there would be rain where I was going. And that went in my suitcase instead of, warm, snuggly sweaters. I had like one sweater, the same sweater that I normally keep in my suitcase. And it ain't looking so cute at this point. But all of that to say is that my binder system worked great. However, once the factor of constantly moving locations came in, it wasn't working so great. And you might be like, girl, binder, you definitely are a dinosaur, because I use apps. Okay, I've used apps and I found that the binder system, I use that much longer than the apps. The apps, I would open them, check them off, the little boxes, and then after like a few days or a week, I'm not checking it so much anymore. I'm ignoring the notifications from the app to do these things the same way I ignore notifications from all the companies that send you notifications. I ignore social media. I'm not on social media anymore, but I would ignore social media notifications, just everything, right? There's so many things that interrupt us in life, especially when you work for yourself. There's so many things that try to fight for your attention that I'm just like, nah, I don't want the interruption. I just don't want it. So that's why I switched to a binder. It was great to start off with. So now I want to see if I'm still doing any of these things, because I have not opened this binder in months and I haven't used it in probably a year. So it's kind of fun, something a little different for this here channel, station, podcast, whatever it is. All right. Oh, look at you guys, my little aerial dancers on my list. Oh gosh, that says 11/9, so that was November. Okay, so the last time I wanted to check anything off was November 2025, I guess, which is not bad. 11/17. Oh goodness. There's a lot of empty. So I started it that week and then I didn't bother to fill anything out. But when was this working? I was using this like regularly and jamming? February. So February, this was me jamming, doing the things, honoring the commitment I made to myself. That was February. I swear I wasn't at that place 2026. Oh yeah, so February 2025. And yeah, I mean, there was a Sunday where I said, I did all the things I want to do, and I did them all. Woohoo! And I made a list at the bottom of this chart for myself of things I could do if I was just wanting to kill time. I was also trying not to like watch TV. Now, here's the thing with me and TV. So when I moved to New York, which was a few months before 9/11, I met up with some people who lived in a youth hostel, and we all moved out together, got a little apartment. We didn't really have any money, and we didn't have a TV, and I was fine with that. I didn't want a TV because when I moved out of San Francisco, I left San Francisco after having spent most of my time watching TV. I had dropped out of college, or put a pause on college, because I could no longer afford college. It was primarily because I had lost my car through a car accident and my backpack within a short time frame. So I didn't have the money to keep getting to school. The classes were paid for by my financial aid, but just to be able to get to school, like, I could not afford to do it. And so what I wound up doing was saying, okay, I'm going to have to put a pause because I'm barely showing up to classes. It's wasting money, and I don't have even the mental bandwidth to focus on these classes. I found myself then working multiple jobs. I worked at a very high-end restaurant during the day, and then I would walk up the street and work at a bar at night where I was a waitress. Definitely a fun time for me as a young person. I was living in the city that I always wanted to live in, and I had friends that were just really cool people. I may not have been the coolest girl, but I was loving life. I was loving my life, and finally starting to date. I didn't date in high school. I was finally like, oh, there's a boy, and he's talking to me, and I like talking to boys. This is so cool. But when I wasn't at work, there were times where I would go back to my apartment and I would just be like, what am I doing with my life? In the sense that I am an artistic person. I wanted to create art, but I was so busy working and trying to pay for my rent that I didn't have the money to go to dance classes regularly. And I didn't have the money to go to acting classes regularly. The audition process didn't really seem to be going anywhere. Just nothing was going anywhere, not making any progress. And there were times when I would lay on my floor. I had a mattress that's on the floor. I wouldn't even lay on the mattress. I would lay on my floor and I would watch Xena, Warrior Princess. And sometimes I don't remember if Xena came on before Hercules or Hercules came on before Xena. But sometimes I would start with one. I didn't care for Hercules as much, but it would just go into the other. And I would just stare at the screen for hours until it was time to peel myself off the floor to go to work. Yeah. Because I only worked so many shifts at the high-end restaurant. So when I wasn't working there, I was just literally on my floor. And I would make collages of things that inspire me, fashion pieces that inspire me. I had a binder of fashion that inspired me, like pages that I ripped out of Vogue and other fashion magazines. And I had used contact paper, and I had this collage that I would have on my kitchen. It was a studio, so kitchen cabinet. And I would lay on the floor and then look up and look at the collage and then look back at the TV. Not really take it in what's happening in these episodes. And then every few months I would just rip down the collage. Be like, I can't have this anymore. So this is not a life. This is not how I want to live my life. I forced myself to get through high school. I told myself, if you just make it through high school, you can do anything you want in life. You just never give up. And I did it. I made it through high school. And so here I was. Did I really make it through high school just to lay on my floor staring at a TV? I'm like, I don't want this to be my life. And to be fair, growing up, there was a TV. At one point, there was a TV in like every room, pretty much. There was a TV in the bathroom at one point. I was like, what? There's TVs everywhere. So, being in New York, didn't want TV, fine without a TV. And when I moved out and got my own place, I didn't want a TV. I was a very happy girl without having a TV. I was producing shows. I was writing, going to, I had a better job. So I was in a little acting group. I was making things happen. Very productive. And left that better job. I found myself not faced with TV again until I was living with my boyfriend, and I remember him getting furious because he could not watch a political debate, I think it was, and we had, I don't know what we had. I think maybe we were trying to watch it on the laptop, but it wasn't live streaming, wasn't happening or whatever, and it kept freezing. I don't remember what it was. But he was just furious, and he was just kind of like, this is ridiculous. And he left, and he's like, I'm going to the bar. I can't live like this. And I was like, oh, no. So as a holiday gift, I got him a TV. Ding. And then there was a TV in my house for the next several years. I don't know, 6 years, 8 years. But for at least 6 or 8 years, I had a TV-free existence, and I was really happy. with all that being said, when I went to a specific house sit that was on an island, I said to myself, no TV while you were here. You were here to write your book. You were here to work on your skills and to grow those skills. The world's changed so much. There's so many things you can learn for free just by going on YouTube, right? And I created this list. And some things that I wanted to improve at would be dental maintenance. You're supposed to brush and floss multiple times a day, and I don't floss multiple times a day. Facial maintenance. There are women who can spend an hour on their getting ready in the morning or getting ready for bed, and I'm not that girl. In terms of facial maintenance, like, I just want to wash my face, get the dirt off. Can I just wash it in the shower? Do I really have to use something separate before I get in the shower? And then moisturizing, and do I need to start doing something to reduce wrinkles and fine lines? Oh, good gracious. So that was something. And then a little standing exercise routine. Get fit with WIC is what it says. I want to also do more stretching, abdominal work, foam rolling, work on my acro skills, practice voice, singing, practice piano, read and listen to French daily. This is a daily log, you guys. Submit something acting-wise or a self-tape, meditate, work on this YouTube channel, submit to acting projects, write one recipe, and then two something. I don't know what the L stands for. I'm like, write one RE/2L. So I know that write one recipe and then two, I don't know what that is. Maybe that's lyrics. Maybe he's writing songs. I don't know. And then definitely like a no tech hour. So an hour where I was not allowed to touch my phone at all. So that is going to be maybe reading some more or drawing, sewing, anything but using technology, not even listening to music. Go try to play some music. And so these were the things I had. And for a while, I was good. And for my no tech hour, I could also drink some water, meal prep, try to read sheet music, practice writing musical notes, read a French article, try a recipe, work on my acro skills, write a song, clean, sing a memorized song, read a play or script, write a friend, or work on my skincare. And a lot of that time, clearly for my no tech, I was hiking, walking, reading. I baked and I read at the beach. Oh, that sounds nice. Now, like I said, I don't use this log anymore, but clearly I was jamming when I was using this log. I think I need to use this log again, you guys. But like I said, I was jamming in February, I was jamming in March, and then like once in November, I used the log once or twice in July. And so here I am, over a year later, haven't touched this log. Where am I with all these skills? Well, my face routine has improved a little bit in the sense that I apply moisturizer more often than I used to. And sometimes I do a little face mask. I'm still not doing it daily. Y'all, but I'm getting better. Acro and arms, that was a boop, zero, no up until last week when I was re-recording my acro choreography or acro skills on demand course. And I had so much fun doing it. I was a bit sore, like, I don't know if my body wants to do these things, but my body was able to do a lot of things. And so I'm like, oh, I need to do more of this. After this video, I think I'm going to try a handstand. And then a lot of this other stuff, some of it has become just routine in terms of working on podcasts and videos. I don't really need it on the list anymore. It's now part of my job. It's part of my routine. And that was the whole point of making this list, is to just put these skills out there. These are things, commitments I said I wanted to make to myself. And I want them to become routine. So some of them have become routine, and I just don't need my list to tell me that. I work on French every day, but I'm still not reading an article every day or listening every day. So that I could improve on. I also am not writing and listening to Japanese every day. That's not happening. It's not happening. It should, though. And what I'm looking at, now that I'm looking at this, I'm like, I think I need to get back to using this list. I'm going to close up this list while I finish this video. So, another thing that I was focused on, which is totally not on this list, was improving my eating habits. In Western society, Western culture, there are a lot of, we're very snack heavy culture. And so when you go to the grocery store, there's the cookie and chip aisle. Then there's the nutrition bar and crackers section. Or maybe it's chips and crackers, cookies, nutrition bars. There's at least 2 aisles. And then there's candies, another aisle. Ice cream's a whole other aisle. Nuts. I mean, you could have 4 different aisles dedicated to snacks. All these brightly colored packages. And a lot of them, those items contain sugar and empty calories. A lot of the products in U.S. grocery stores have some form of sugar in them. I'm not down with that. Even natural sugars, a lot of things are pumped full of coconut sugar, date sugar, but they don't need to be. And so it's like companies are fighting to give us these intense flavors. And I'd be loving them flavors, but you're also changing the way my brain connects to food. I suddenly become no longer satisfied with my food unless I got my hot sauce, unless I got my salt, my slap your mama, my Old Bay, whatever, right? And so I don't want to be dependent on all of these flavor enhancers. I want to be satisfied with the food. I don't want to have to be upset because it's not, I have to keep adding more, right? And think of it this way. If you were someone who drinks alcohol and you used to like getting that little buzz after one drink, the longer you drink, over time, you don't get that little buzz. And if you miss that buzz, you might find yourself drinking more just to get the little buzz. Or with the coffee. If 1 cup used to make you feel relaxed or give you that little boost of energy, right? And over time, that 1 cup is not doing whatever it was doing for you. And so now you're having to drink more cups. So I don't really, for me, it just feels like I'm giving over control over my happiness to some company. And for what? For an extra cheese of flavor? Huh? What? So anyway, I wanted to improve my nutrition, and it's been a battle for a very long time. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm also, I don't eat meat. I'm vegan. And at one point, I was a very happy vegan. I could pretty much eat whatever I wanted. And then my body changed. It was like, you are now allergic to coconut. And I'm like, oh, I can't eat coconut anymore. Okay. And then suddenly it was, you are now allergic to this, that, and the other thing. And slowly my body was started saying, if you eat this, you are going to have upset digestion or intolerance, I guess. Some of these were just intolerances. Being really excited to eat tons of broccoli or cauliflower, and then being like, why is it every time I eat broccoli and cauliflower, I am so gassy? Like, I don't even want to be in the room with me anymore. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. I love these vegetables. I don't want to not eat these vegetables. And then finding, oh, I love a big bowl of cheesy spaghetti. why is it that I can't keep my eyes open and I'm feeling tired? My head is bothering me. But if I don't eat wheat products, I'm feeling okay. Or, oh, that bowl of rice was delicious. But my just feel kind of, my stomach never really feels empty. Or for other things, feeling like that was delicious, but I still want to eat something. I still want to eat more. So it's been years finding things that worked, and all of a sudden my body's like, nope, that don't work no more. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. Or I don't feel good. Being really excited to have like fruit, fresh fruit that's supposed to be good for you, and then being like, I can't keep my eyes open and I'm yawning. What's happening? What's happening? Lots of trial and error, lots of reading different studies, lots of YouTube videos. And I finally found something that just clicked. It worked. I was like, wait a minute. I'm not bloated. I don't feel backed up. I'm not hungry. I'm not craving anything. I have energy. I'm not tired. I feel like, oh, this is my body. I haven't known you in over a decade. I missed you, balanced body. And so I've been creating routine based on this new eating pathway that I found. And maybe I'll share that in another video. And a lot of people be like, well, if you just eat meat, then you can eat everything else. But I don't want to eat meat. And why should I have to eat meat in order to eat rice or in order to eat pasta? Why? That's like when the person says, oh, you should just take that lactose pill and then you can go ahead and eat all the ice cream you want. Or I can just not eat ice cream, or I can eat an ice cream substitute. Why am I going to take this extra step to consume something that I really could just find an alternative for? I could just live it out, right? Just find an alternative. And so what have I learned? Well, the good thing is the food thing is becoming a habit. Another thing is that I am naturally finding myself wanting to just reincorporate a little stretching at the beginning of the day. That is also becoming a habit. I'm not throwing down the foam roller all the time, but I am just making a point to just do more stretches. I am making it a point to listen to classical music in the morning. And you're like, what, girl? Okay, I can't listen to you no more. Classical music. I'm telling you, a lot of musicians have been inspired by classical music. You may not realize that some of your favorite artists may have been inspired by something that was introduced by a classical musician decades, centuries ago. I really want to just spend the first part of my morning without someone's voice, without a voice, just me and my thoughts, and allow myself to move slowly through the day. And I'm liking it. I do have my news apps, and I still listen to them, but that's not the first thing I listen to during the day. I'm not someone who has to commute to work, so I'm not listening to the morning forecast or something, or the traffic report as the first thing. With that being said, what am I giving to you? Because this is not all about me. It's not, I swear it's not. Well, okay, so in the grand scheme, to sum it up for myself, I am naturally starting to incorporate things that I want to do and make priority, even without the list. However, after reviewing the list, I feel that there are things on there that I really am serious about. So I should get back to getting myself to use this list in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Like last night, I allowed myself to watch some TV. Woohoo! But when I look at this list, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have allowed myself to do any one of those things and been really happy instead of watching an episode of something that I'd already seen and trying to remember who did it. So being a good steward of your time. I could be a better steward of my time. I should have been a better steward of my time last night. I'm not beating myself up over these things anymore, though. I used to do that, being like, man, I'm wasting time. Just like laying on the floor of that apartment, I am wasting time. But with that being said, no, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. Today's another day to try. I am not going to make an excuse for myself and just be like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. That's not what this is about. This is about accepting what has occurred and recommitting to move forward in a different way. Now, if you've ever read Atomic Habits, James Clear, then you know you're supposed to pair the things that you want to do with things that you already do. Well, that's assuming you already have a whole bunch of things that you routinely do, and you are in a space where you can set up different obstacles. The whole idea of, I'll hide the remote under the pillows or put the remote on top of the TV and it's further to get to, but the guitar will be right in front of the TV or right next to the TV. So I'm more likely to grab the guitar because it's right near my chair as opposed to walking over out of my way to get the remote, right? These are wonderful strategies, but you know, when you're moving from house to house, then it's not like, it's just not realistic. I have to go into every house trying to, for a while, I had my keyboard in my car. Okay, am I going to be dragging my keyboard out of the car in order to plug it in? It made sense when it's a house sit that's 2 weeks, but it's a house sit that's 1 week. I don't want to spend 30 minutes unpacking my car and then worry, did I get everything when I'm packing up? Yes, you can learn keyboard skills on your phone, but honestly, it's not the same. So, while the Atomic Habits strategy is definitely helpful and unique, I have to figure out a way to adjust things, the same with this binder, right? To adjust things based on the current state I'm in, which is a period of kind of constant transition. But I'm not worried about it. And that's a really, really wonderful leaf. I'm not worried about it. I'm also really freaking high-fiving myself. Good job over this whole eating thing, because I feel I have finally found peace and happiness, and I'm good. I am good. I used to get really like frustrated, like it shouldn't be this hard. What's going on with my body? I don't know this body. I don't understand. That's not a problem. I'm like, oh, I know this body. I'm good. I can now say that the little bit that I am overweight, in terms of my ideal weight, not in terms of doctors saying this is not safe. I'm at a safe weight. I'm at a safe weight. No doctor would be like, you need to lose weight. Oh, you got a little fat, but you're getting older. You know, well, whatever, right? In terms of that, I can look at it and say, I know what that is. I know the things that I've eaten that have not been so great, and I know what that is, right? I'm gonna allow myself a cookie every now and then. I don't want to live my life being afraid of foods that I enjoy, but I can live my life without having to have. I can live my life without having to have many foods. I don't want to feel like can't live without a certain food. And this all comes back to like addiction, right? What is a craving? Can't have it. I have to have it. I have to. That's not how I want to live my life. As long as I'm getting all the nutrients that I need and I have good energy and my body's functioning correctly, then I'm good. And so I do give myself a high five for that. So yeah, that's the quarterly review. In terms of business, I'm not stressed about my business right now. Yes, I need to be making more money, but I'm also not comfortable financially, not by any means. I'm comfortable with the decisions I've made. I'm no longer fighting certain areas of my business where I was like, this needs to grow. I need to stop doing this. Now I'm like, okay, no, I've figured out a different way to address things, and there's more balance, there's more stability. How much of that is external? How much of it is internal? Well, that's debatable. But I do feel like the test period is finally behind me. If you've ever tried to introduce something new, there is always a test period, right? Starting a new hobby, new skill. You may be really into it at one point, but your body is struggling or your brain is struggling. Or maybe there is no struggle, but then you reach a point where you hit a wall and you're like, oh, man, I'm not making any progress. There's always that test period. So I feel like my test period is kind of done and I'm feeling good. Whoop, whoop. And so quarterly review, don't lay on the floor watching TV all day or lay in your bed or your couch watching TikToks all day or YouTube shorts all day. And just take a moment to think about what's something you've always wanted to do. Is there a way you can do it for free? Can you get started for free if you've always wanted to travel to Japan? That's a goal of mine. How can I start that for free? I can start learning Japanese. Yay! I can maybe grab a book and start learning about Japanese culture. I don't really want to say watch a bunch of videos on Japanese culture and places in Japan because that's not engaging all the senses. Engage more of your senses. Be physical about it. I can go to a music performance with by a Japanese artist. Go to a museum and look at Japanese art, right? There's a lot of ways I can get started on that for free. Or I can just look at my budget and be like, oh, okay, apparently I forgot that I have that subscription for that app that I don't even use anymore or that I barely use. So I'm going to take that $5 and I'm going to put it into my Travel to Japan fund. Because, guys, just saying, if you're saving $10 a month, $20 a month, and there's 12 months in the year, it adds up. Or maybe your goal is just to just to not have debt. Sometimes I'll break down how much it would actually, if I just put 30 more bucks towards that bill, whatever the total of the bill is, and I divide it by X number of years and X number of months, right? So there was one bill, I was like, oh my gosh, I just have to pay $30 more a week on that bill, and then it's gone. I don't have to think about it anymore. 30 bucks, that's 3 hours on Cambly, or that's maybe one extra class that I teach. 30 bucks isn't a huge amount. It's not a huge amount. Come on, 30 bucks, or even 10 bucks, 10 bucks, 10 bucks a week. Maybe that's 2 coffees you skip. And okay, like one of my favorite financial advisors, he's always like, oh, I hate it when people say like, just don't buy that coffee and then you'll be rich. But there is some truth to it. It was not quite that simple. But if I was someone who would get my afternoon Starbucks, my coffee and my cookie or whatever, and if I was spending, and then maybe the tip, I don't know, $10 a day, okay, of work day, 5 days a week, $10 a day, 5 days a week. That's $50 a week. Okay, times 4 weeks. That is $200 a month. That could go towards whatever the thing I wanted to do is, or that goal of mine of getting out of debt, $200. If I'm not someone who's committing, and so I'm not doing the Starbucks with the cookie, maybe I'm still spending $10 on some app, some subscription, randomly somewhere. You probably are. But maybe it's not a day. Maybe it's a week or a month. Still, $10 a week. That's $40 a month. Okay, do the math. $40 a month times 12 months. Boop-a-doop. That could make a big difference somewhere in your life. Maybe towards your travel fund. Okay, these quarterly reviews, they do get a little long. So we're going to wrap it up, peeps. But yeah, I'm feeling good. I hope you're feeling good too. And now I'm going to go practice handstands. Until next time, peace.
Thanks for listening. If you think this podcast would help a friend, then please feel free to share it with them. If you want to check out some more Real Ray or just see me hang out with cute dogs, then feel free to visit me over on YouTube. Get Real Ray 4273.